What hurts more, a broken heart or a love you were never allowed to express? It is a really powerful question, isn't it? I mean, think about it. Being trapped in a world where your very survival depends on keeping your true feelings completely hidden. The stakes are just incredibly high. Today, we're stepping right into the elegant yet dangerously emotional world of Jane Austen. We're looking at a world of intense social pressure, hidden emotions, and frankly, some nearly impossible choices. Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to our explainer on what is widely considered one of the absolute greatest romance classics ever written, Sense and Sensibility. Now, listen, don't let the polite tea parties and the fancy dresses fool you. This is way more than just a simple love story. What we are really unpacking today is a massive, high-stakes battle between logic and emotion. It's a literal war between unchecked passion and rigid restraint, and it's all told through the lives of two sisters, two very different hearts, and two completely opposite ways of loving. Section 1. The Dashwood Family Tragedy, a Sudden Crisis. To understand everything that happens next, we have to start at the very beginning with a sudden, absolutely devastating crisis. Step 1. Mr. Dashwood dies unexpectedly, leaving behind his wife and 3 daughters. Now, step 2, because of the really strict inheritance laws in 19th century England, where wealth heavily favored male heirs just to keep those massive estates intact, the family home automatically passes to Mr. Dashwood's son from a previous marriage, which brings us to the devastating step 3. Almost overnight, the Dashwood women lose their home, their financial security, and a massive chunk of their social status. They are thrust into a society that absolutely expects them to survive, but completely strips them of the resources to actually do so. Section 2. Sense versus Sensibility. 2 ways of loving. Stripped of their wealth, the family's future now largely rests on the 2 eldest daughters. Now, what's really fascinating here is how these 2 words, sense and sensibility, were used back in Jane Austen's time, because these archaic definitions basically form the entire psychological framework of the story. Back then, sense didn't just mean having common sense. It meant being calm, entirely practical, and strictly emotionally controlled under pressure. Sensibility, on the other hand, well, it didn't mean being sensible. It meant being deeply passionate, highly emotional, and completely guided by the heart. These aren't just quirky personality traits. They are 2 entirely opposing philosophies on how you survive in the world. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly who our 2 main characters are. On one side, we have Elinor Dashwood. She embodies sense. She handles the family's terrifying newfound poverty by being super calm, extremely practical, and concealing all of her inner turmoil just to keep everyone else steady. On the flip side is her sister Marianne Dashwood, representing sensibility. Marianne is all passion. She is deeply emotional and honestly believes that hiding your feelings is almost a crime against your own soul. She expresses everything freely. They love each other deeply, for sure, but they look at life and love through completely different lenses. Section 3. Diverging romantic paths. 2 different men. Naturally, these 2 opposing mindsets are going to clash with reality because they view the world so differently. The sisters are drawn to 2 completely different types of men. Before leaving her childhood home, Elinor forms a bond with Edward Ferrars. Edward is gentle, he's humble, he's intelligent. The romance isn't full of grand, sweeping speeches. It's a really quiet connection built on deep understanding, respect, and emotional comfort. Marianne, however, meets John Willoughby. And wow, Willoughby is exactly what Marianne has dreamed of. He is handsome, intensely charming, and they have this explosive, dramatic chemistry from the very literal moment they meet. They spend hours reading poetry and rushing through nature. It's immediate, and it is overwhelmingly passionate. But there is a massive roadblock for Elinor. You see, in Austen's world, love alone is never enough. Marriage requires status, it requires wealth, and it requires reputation. Edward's incredibly wealthy family completely disapproves of Elinor because, well, she just doesn't have money or social power anymore. Because of this immense societal pressure, Edward becomes distant. And true to her core nature of sense, Elinor silently suffers. She hides her heartbreak behind composure and dignity. She literally never lets anyone know how much she is hurting. Section 4. A double heartbreak. Reality crashes down. The pacing of their lives is about to drastically accelerate. For Marianne, the collapse is incredibly sudden. Right when she believes Willoughby is her absolute soulmate, her forever person, he suddenly packs up and leaves town. No letter, no real explanation, he just vanishes. Marianne's entire world violently collapses. Because she lives completely by sensibility, she doesn't hold anything back. She falls apart entirely, just letting her grief totally consume her. Desperate for answers, Marianne eventually travels to London, hoping to reunite with him. But instead, she discovers a horrifying truth. Willoughby publicly, coldly, and cruelly ignores her. She soon learns why. Willoughby is actually engaged to a wealthy woman. He didn't do it for love. He did it for money. Marianne's heart is completely shattered. It is a brutal wake-up call, and for the very first time, she realizes just how incredibly dangerous blind passion can truly be. But actually, right as Marianne's fantasy shatters, Elinor is hit by an equally devastating emotional disaster. Elinor discovers that Edward, the gentle, humble man she loves so deeply, has actually been secretly engaged to another woman for years. Her name is Lucy Steele, and let me tell you, she is a highly manipulative and deeply ambitious woman. Elinor is just utterly devastated. Both sisters are now dealing with monumental betrayals, but look at how differently they process it. Marianne's grief is a very public collapse. She physically and mentally deteriorates, nearly dying from a literal fever brought on by her dangerous, blind passion and despair. Elinor's grief, on the other hand, is marked by silent suffering. She continues to smile, organize the household, and support her sister, keeping all of her pain entirely hidden from the world. And honestly, this is one of the most brilliant thematic points of this explainer. Austen is showing us that not all pain is visible. Section 5. The Quiet Hero, Colonel Brandon. As the dust of these betrayals begins to settle, we have to talk about the healing process. Throughout all of Marianne's chaotic drama with Willoughby, another man has been quietly watching over her, Colonel Brandon. He is older, serious, and very reserved. Early on, Marianne totally dismisses him as boring because he isn't loud or wildly dramatic. But Colonel Brandon actually represents stability, unwavering loyalty, and deep kindness. He expects nothing in return. As Marianne suffers through her heartbreak and physical illness, Colonel Brandon simply stays by her side, supporting her silently. He proves to Marianne that real love is not always loud. Sometimes the absolute truest form of love is profoundly patient. Section 6. Finding true balance, growing and changing. It's through this quiet support and through watching each other suffer that the sisters begin to change. And while Marianne is learning about stability, a massive twist of fate completely upends Elinor's situation. Edward's wealthy family discovers his secret engagement to the manipulative Lucy Steele, and as punishment, they cut him off from his inheritance entirely. When Lucy realizes Edward is suddenly poor, she ruthlessly abandons him and marries his richer brother instead. Just like that, the secret engagement collapses, and Edward is finally free. Edward immediately travels to Elinor to confess his true feelings and to propose. So the crucial point is this. Upon hearing that Edward is free and still loves her, for the very first time in the entire story, Elinor loses her emotional control. The giant wall of sense completely breaks, and she cries openly. It is arguably the most powerful emotional release in the story. After carrying the weight of the world and hiding her pain for so long, she finally allows herself to be completely vulnerable and happy. In the end, both sisters find a beautiful resolution. Elinor marries Edward Ferrars, uniting through mutual understanding and emotional trust. And Marianne marries Colonel Brandon. Now, for some, Marianne's choice might seem surprising, but it perfectly represents her immense emotional growth. She stops chasing dangerous fantasies, and instead, she actively chooses stability, deep respect, and genuine affection. After years of financial and emotional suffering, both Dashwood sisters finally find real peace. When we step back and look at the core themes of the source material, we see a story deeply concerned with emotional survival in a society totally controlled by money. It highlights the friction between love and financial security, the war between raw emotion and cold logic, the crushing weight of social pressure, the near impossibility of female independence at the time, and ultimately the vital necessity of emotional maturity. Austen's thesis isn't that logic is better than emotion or vice versa. Her message is that surviving this really complex world requires a healthy balance of both. We've seen the very real dangers of feeling too much and the immense pain of hiding too much. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to take with you today. When you look at your own life and how you handle heartbreak, stress, and love, which sister do you relate to more? Are you an Elinor, suffering in silence to keep the peace? Or are you a Marianne, letting your passions completely rule your world? It's a 200-year-old question, but honestly, it's just as relevant today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the classics.